Hi everyone, my name is Joely Ramos and I'm part of a facilitation techniques for recreational therapy class at FIU. In the following video, I'm going to discuss the facilitation technique of leisure education. In this video, I'll discuss things like the definition, description, history, purpose, effectiveness, and even an actual activity in the therapeutic use of leisure education. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys gain some information from all of this. So, what exactly is leisure education? It's definitely more than just teaching activity skills. According to Dalito and Murphy, it's identified as a human right that can enable choice, freedom, and self-determination. It gives people an experience, a sense of freedom, and makes them motivated to participate in activities primarily for the enjoyment. It's usually not organized like another type of recreation. Educating people on leisure started to rise mostly in the 1960s when the progressive education reform was starting to rise, where people realized that others, including students, needed to learn the importance of using their free time wisely. Leisure education includes many different components, but its main focus is to show people the many benefits that come with leisure appreciation and education, such as the pleasure, happiness, satisfaction, physical fitness, psychological, and emotional benefits. The purpose of leisure education is to help people make better decisions, use their time more wisely, and become more independent. That way, people aren't stuck at home or restrained by their disabilities, but rather they use their abilities to continue in their usual leisure pleasures. In a 3-year leisure program on rural middle school students, 634 of them to be exact, Caldwell, Baldwin, Walls, and Smith examined their after effects. After the first year of the program, data was collected using a free time motivational scale and leisure experience battery for adolescents. The experimental group, which received 6 50-minute sessions, were at the end more interested in leisure activities, able to make better choices during free time, and they were more willing to try new activities more frequently than the control group. So this shows the effectiveness for at-risk youth and at-risk for substance abuse people in our community that need to have leisure education programs. As adults get older, they tend to decline in physical health and get disabilities like arthritis or maybe even obesity. In 1996, 3 researchers studied the effects of leisure education on older women with disabilities. Half of the group attended a leisure education program 5 times a week for 1 hour each time, and the control group continued their normal activities with no leisure education. The components taught in the program included awareness of self, social skills, decision making, and leisure activity skills. At the end, participants were interviewed, and the women that were in the leisure education program were more aware of the barriers in leisure involvement, which led to talking about the solutions rather than just ignoring the issues. Requirements to make decisions was one of the things that popped up in that experience. Leisure education is even good for participants with cognitive impairments. In 2000, O'Reilly and some colleagues examined the effects of a social skill in leisure education program for 4 adults with moderate mental retardation. The participants were engaged in a hands-on group that taught them how to analyze and act in certain social situations. They also taught them how to make choices according to what they have just encountered and evaluate their performance. The intervention was immediately effective and produced results that were so positive that even after 3 years that the program had taken place, they were still able to use these social skills that they learned in the leisure education program. Now you get to see the facilitation technique implemented in an actual intervention. For the activity I chose, I am doing a decision-making skill in leisure education. The activity is called How to Decide, and it can be found in the class's book named Facilitation Techniques in Therapeutic Recreation by John DeLito and Alexis McKinney. This, along with all the other information in this video, is from that book. For this intervention, you will need 4 small paper bags numbered as demonstrated, which is 1 through 4, and 4 items to put in the bags, such as a dollar bill, a banana, an orange, and a sealable soda bottle filled with water. Each item will go inside of the bags, and the tops of the bags will be folded over so that the contents are not visible. The population I am working with are participants at risk for substance abuse, and one of their symptoms can be that when they are frustrated, they turn or they want to use their substance in order to feel better. So, an adaptation for them would be applying a very brief anger management technique to the beginning of the intervention of leisure education. So here I used and I explained to them before starting the intervention the zipper method, a method used to control anger in participants. It goes something like Z is for zip your mouth, which means in a non-respectful way that the participants should try to not say anything that they might regret in the future. Then I, identifying the problem. P, putting off what they want to do. P, putting themselves in control, stepping out if necessary. E, exploring other solutions. And the most important one is R, returning to what they were doing, so that way it isn't taking away from actually letting them leave. This adaptation helps them learn how to manage their anger properly, express themselves while still being respectful and still intaking new information. However, you still want to make sure that the thing most focused on is the leisure education technique. So next, the 4 bags will be positioned side by side on a table in front of the group. You will pick volunteers, or if you have enough, each person can get a bag and stand behind it. You want to ask the volunteers why they selected the bag that they stood behind. Next, you want to tell them to lift the bags without looking in them or trying to feel what's inside. And here's where they make their first choice. Participants can be asked if they would like to trade their bags with someone else now that they have some information. If they want to trade, they may do so. Next, the participants are allowed to feel the object in their bag, but they're still not able to look inside. Again, you can tell them that they are able to offer any trades to somebody and trade with anyone who is willing. Participants can be reminded that they are making a decision based only on what they believe is in their bag because they don't really know what is inside or what other people may have. Once all the trades have been done, if there are any trades at all, participants can take the object out of their bag and show their objects to the rest of the people. But now they get to make the final and ultimate decision. They get to trade their item for somebody else's item if they want and if the person is willing. Once they do that, they can have a seat and then a discussion will start. This is the very vital part of the activity since it requires debriefing and discussing the importance of having information before making decisions. This discussion should be led by a recreational therapist that knows the individual goals and needs of each participant, because that's where the therapeutic use comes from. Participants can be asked if they ever made decisions before gathering the information necessary, or if they have ever made a decision that they regretted because they had not gathered sufficient information first. Many times, this happens when a person who is dealing with substance abuse chooses to use their free time in order to use the substance that isn't beneficial to them, instead of using their free time for something that is beneficial to them, like maybe a sport or an art or any other leisure activity that gives them fulfillment and joy and is enjoyable for them, but that also comes with all the benefits of emotional well-being and physical well-being. In addition to this ending discussion, another adaptation given to us by the Canadian Centre on Substance Abuse is to prioritize and inform participants on new research projects and facts that have come out about substance abuse. This creates self-awareness and better decision-making skills. That concludes this activity. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.